Okay, I was gonna try to do this earlier, but had to go to work, and of course I had phone call after phone call, and it's like, jeez, let me just do this video, this fan recommendation, and I'll be done. Now, of course, you know I probably did three. I already did a video recommending three off DeviantArt. Um, this one is another fan recommendation. This guy actually has been doing this obviously for quite some time. He did most of his stories you could find, or some of his first stories I should say, you could find at the Transformation Story Archive, TSA, which if you Google it, you'll be able to find a lot of stories there by various authors. But the fan I'm recommending here, and you see the title below or above depending on how you see this, is TalGreywolf. And this guy, like I said, has been doing this for quite some time, obviously. He's been doing it, I guess, since the early 2000s, mid-90s. I don't really know, honestly, because when I look at the copyright at the end of some of his stories that he's been bringing up, he's actually been bringing a lot of his stories that he's done on the TSA over to DeviantArt now. And when I look at the copyright, it says 1996 and 2015, so I'm assuming he's been doing it for about 20-something years, but I don't really know, honestly. I mean, he's been on DeviantArt for about 6 years, it looks like, for several years, I should say, 6 to several years. And obviously he's been doing this since I guess, maybe the mid-90s, I can't really be sure, but I would assume more like maybe the 2000s and somewhat into that, maybe. I'm assuming the 1996 has to do with the TSA, but who knows. But anyway, TalGreywolf is just a tremendous writer when it comes to transformation stories. I mean, for anybody that's read his stories on Transformation Stories Archive, TSA, you'll know exactly what I mean. Of course, on TSA, you only have a certain amount of choices you can do, but you can probably do more. Sometimes in parentheses, when somebody posts a story, they'll say in parentheses what the main transformation of that story is. Either it's mythical, animal-like, furry, if you will, miscellaneous, other, if you will. And sometimes several of the stories that he's done have been miscellaneous stories. Basically contains a variety amount of transformations. And the story that really got me I got hooked on his stories once I think Great Bithynia told me what he was doing, and I read some of the stories, and when I looked at his TSA profile, his Transformation Story Archive profile, and I saw some of his stories there. One story that interested me which was filed under miscellaneous transformations, was Bottle of Dreams. Now he's imported Bottle of Dreams over to DeviantArt along with several other stories, but he's imported it in several parts, basically about 6 individual parts, because it's a long story on TSA as a whole. And I read the story and I actually liked it. I really did. And I could kind of see what some of the ideas bear a lot of similarity to what I've asked of Great Bithynia and other people, so it's really intriguing to see that. And obviously this is before even I started commissioning Great Bithynia over a year ago. And yes, it has been 1 year, if you can believe that. So anyway, so basically I read the story and I got a kick out of it. But again, it was thanks to Great Bithynia, Farah, if you will, that I got introduced to his profile, and I looked at what he was doing, and he had basically taken a concept from some of the stories that I had commissioned Great Bithynia to do, and he had basically taken them off into their own continuity. Well, not their own continuity, but more along the lines that it stays in the continuity that Great Bithynia started, but into their own, kind of like series, their own adventures. And the characters that he focused on, well, the first main character was Caroline. Caroline, of course, you know from stories like When Science and Magic Meet, Absorbing Caroline, the recent Party at Caroline's two-parter. What else? The beginning of the melting point of no return, the boiling point of no return, and like I said, When Science and Magic Meet, which was the first crossover between her, Alexi, and Gina, those characters, and the other story, which was a sequel to that, can't think of the name right now. I don't think I'll be able to get it on my iPod, my Kindle, without the Kindle dying, which I can because my Kindle is dead right now. But I could probably find it on here. But like I said, just a variety of the stories that you've seen them meet up in. And he's basically taking the Caroline character and, like I said, put her in her own adventures, in her own stories, and all that, as well as giving her a love interest in the character named Ryan, who she shares the potion with, and through the sharing and all that, they get to explore what the potion does, the ultimate potion does, to the point that it becomes permanent. It's become basically to the point that they've used it, not just Caroline, but now Ryan, they've used it so much, but that it's basically become permanently structured into the systems, to the point that they don't even need to take the potion anymore, because it's a part of them. It's part of the molecular structure, if you will, that they can just think about what they want to be or what they want to do, and they become it. So that's really interesting, and I like that addition there. And again, he's done this for a variety of chapters, up to about 12 chapters now. He's going to do a 13th one up next, but it's going to be, but he's not going to focus on Ryan and Caroline. He's going to focus more on the two new friends, and I think, oops. But like I say, he's going to focus on their two new friends. I think their name is Tyler and Felicity. So that's going to be really interesting to see what they do, what he does there. But yeah, he's taking that concept into another direction. He contributes to the Trust Machine Stories group on DeviantArt with his own unique take as well. So again, just someone you really have to check out if you haven't checked him out yet here on the internet through the TSA Transformation Story Archive or DeviantArt. His stories are very creative. They go in directions that you wouldn't expect. I mean, when he started doing this Ultimate Potion Vacation Story arc, which is which, like I say, is a spin-off of the potion stories and everything that I've basically most of the stories that I've commissioned from Great Bethania. He's basically taken these characters of Caroline and Ryan, and they've gone and taken them in entirely different directions that not even myself and not even Great Bethania or anybody thought somebody could take them story-wise. I mean, the transformations he had them go through and stuff is just phenomenal. There's just this one chapter where he has them turn themselves into an android and a gyroid, and they end up merging together into this kind of like spider-like entity, and it's kind of like a spider-like entity, maybe a drive or something like that, and they end up hooking up to the computer or to the computer or the wall that leads into the internet, and they become part of the internet. They go and become part of cyberspace. They merge with different things like artwork and stuff. It's kind of unique. It's kind of crazy, but it's unique. Like I said, it's kind of crazy, but it's unique in its own way, because it's fun to see to me it's really fun and to see exactly where he takes these characters and goes off with them and stuff. I mean, one of the last chapters he did is he had them basically, Ryan and Caroline at the end of the story, had them as a mixed, striped, just a mixed up tub full of goo where, when a face would appear on top of it, it would either be Caroline's face, maybe with just a tiny bit of Ryan in there, and then sometimes it'd be Ryan's face with just a tiny bit of Caroline in there, but most times, according to the ending, it would be a mixture of both in a hybrid-like kind of face. Okay, it's the stories I was talking about is When Magic Takes Over is the sequel, and When Science and Magic Meet is the first one, but when Magic takes over is, like I said, it's the sequel. And again, it's stories like that he's taking the Caroline character into another direction as well. And I do recommend checking him out. I even commented on him after he did did the last chapter of Ultimate Potions, and I said, perhaps that we might see a story down the line with Caroline and Felicity getting together and having some fun with what they do. And he said, hey, there's enough and he replied and said something like, there's enough potion to go around, who knows? So again, though, he's going to focus mostly on the next chapter. He's going to focus mostly on Ryan and Caroline's new friends of Tyler and Felicity, or Felicia, and that might be interesting to see what he does. I've got a feeling that Tal will definitely add some transformations that we've seen, maybe with Caroline and Ryan, but probably go in a different direction, because it sounds like Felicia and Felicity, or Felicia, whatever her name is, and Tyler could get just as kinky, wild, if not more so, than Caroline and Ryan. Basically give Caroline and Ryan in the stories a run for the money. So that might be interesting to see as well. But again, this guy just does tremendous stories. And like I said, I won't be surprised, and maybe this might be a bit of a suggestion, but again, I won't be surprised if he ends up adding some gooness, melting, and all that into the Tyler, Felicia, Felicity chapter when he gets going on it. So he does have more stories coming up. I mean, he's been gone for a while. He has, like I said, been importing a lot of his stories from TSA over to DeviantArt to kind of make up for the fact that we haven't seen anything new and original yet. But still, those stories are just as good as anything. So I do highly recommend checking TalGreywolf out. I'll provide the link down below so you can check out his stories. Again, this guy just does a tremendous job, really takes a concept and runs with it, has fun with it, and here's to hoping to seeing a lot more down the line. And that's all I'm going to say. Check him out, and I'll talk to y'all later.